Accenture Technologies. As a lead industry practice, he brings together services across innovation, engineering, and product development, manufacturing and digital operations, and products services optimization. As a master technology architect and digital architect, he has been instrumental in creating digital factory solutions. Innovation has been inbred as a culture, and he is excited to create new assets in cracking customer challenges. He holds patents of four different solutions on Accenture Intelligent Bin, mobile auto insurance, HMI powered by AI innovation, and integrated vehicular monitoring and communication system. He strongly believes in innovation is a life, and when there is no innovation, there is no stagnation. I take the privilege of welcoming Mr. Paul Sundar Singh on the dais to give his views on technology driven business, AI, and industrial automation. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Not seeing much energy in the morning. Do you think that it's a Friday, that it's going to be break off, right? Is that what? No? So you have your college for tomorrow as well. One more day to go in. Okay, perfect. So how do you feel in the morning? Energetic? Not hearing a lot. Okay, perfect. So I'm just not going to be very monology on what I am. So I'm looking at you guys to kind of, come back and ask questions. It's not that you need to wait till the end of the presentation to ask for questions, but, just keep moving in, right? Okay, I said, I'm one of the managing director leading the automotive practice within Accenture in India, and being with the firm for the last 15 years, and being serving close to about 24 odd auto clients from India. So that's where I come in. So that's my passion. So I started as a technologist way back in 97, and started as a technology architect, started with mainframes. How many of you know mainframes? Anyone? What's mainframe is? No clue. Come on, guys. Okay, we are still in the world of mainframe. Okay, so started with mainframe, and I don't know whether you heard about it or not. There was a problem sometime in 2000. That's where the mainframe came into a boom, and people started looking at whether the mainframe is going to sustain their business, right? So we call that as Y2K problem. How many of you know about it? Yes? What's that?
Sir, they thought after like 2000, like the binary will reset or something. I don't remember clearly.
Okay, let me give you a simplest one, right? So when they started coding the mainframe, right? We started using a format of date, like two digits for a day, two digits for a month, and two digits for a year, right? After this 2000, the problem of that is the year will go into 00, all right? And your system might not understand what exactly it is all about, right? So it has to be kind of reset or recoded in a way that the system can understand that it is just not 00, it is like 2000, right? So people started working towards that. So that's where I started my career with mainframe, and slowly moved on to Java. How many of you know what Java is? Anyone? No Java, no Java technologies. Yeah? I know. It's a language, right? Okay. So Java was entering into that because, do you know why it was named as Java? Okay. There were a few scientists who were working on artificial intelligence, right? Artificial intelligence was not just came into existence very recently. It started way back in 80s as well, right? So people started that, they started creating a language, but the language, they thought we can make artificial intelligence, and they were thinking that, this technology will help them to kind of mimic a human. Do you think that we can mimic a human? Why? We can. There are. There are solutions, right? Okay. But it was not that success, so they thought like, they roll out the technology to kind of, the public and make it aware of for others. So that's when, Java came in, and the team of people who were being sitting on a top of a mountain where there was a coffee which is known as Java, which was being grown at. And they used to have the coffee of Java, and that's when, they named it as Java and then rolled it out. That came in existence, and then, people started looking at Java, and it was quite interesting, and it can do a lot, right? I can make it to work the way that I want it. Then I moved on to .NET. So .NET was another interesting Microsoft technology which came in, and started with that, and slowly moved on to SAP. How many of you know what SAP is? Any clue? What's that? Yeah, it's not just a software, it's a platform. So the platform was kind of supporting the entire business organization, all the way from your design to your warranty, right? Everything was being carried in, and it's one single source of truth that we can rely on. Started with SAP and slowly transformed myself into an automotive technologist. So that's the quick background. So you've seen that the breadth of technology that I have been traveling. Is it good or not? Good? I feel it bored here. Do you think that your education stops after your PGTM? No. What's next? What's that you want to do after this? Yes, no. Okay. Okay, your PGM is going to be enough food for you to learn on top. But what next? What? Work, okay. If you want to work, what do you need? The trends which are prevailing, right? Is that yes or no? Every business is transforming today, right? So obviously you need to be on your toe, that you need to be constantly learning and constantly be on top of what it is. Do you think that I have stopped my studies? Why? Why should I be doing more? I can stop it at this end, right? Yeah, it's all about, right? The technology is keep growing, and I need to be competent enough to go and talk to my client about what the technology is and how the business is going to help him, right? Okay, so I'm doing my PhD as well. Is it good or bad? Still, okay. So let's talk about what technology driven business. What's that mean? What's a business is? Do you think I can run a business without a software or kind of an ERP? Without that, can I run a business? Yeah, I can run, is it? Good. Nice to hear. How do you do it? How can you be competent, or how can you be in a competitor for your similar market? Do you think, let's take an example of your retail industry today, right? Do you think that I can go and compete against H&M or Zara's? Do you think that I can do? Why? You have to think you can do it, provided your business is going to be supported by a technology, right? How do I understand? So, how many of you do your shopping? Do you do very often? How was your shopping experience? You just go do a window shopping and come in. Is that what it is? Right? Or do you look for a brand? Or do you look for a standard brand and you have your own identity to be fixed with some brands? West Side, example. Do I fix myself to West Side and say, like, I'm just going with West Side all time? We don't, right? We just keep shifting it. Why? Because the trends are changing, right? The way that, West Side offers you a discount against your H&M could be different, right? Sometimes West Side will come and say that, I can give you a 10% discount. Do you know why they are offering a 10% discount? Yeah, obviously, right? I need to get the traction of the people coming, right? Do you think by offering a 10%, do you think that my sale is going up? Might not, right? I might come in, I might not found a one that is going to be fit for myself, but obviously I have made an entry there, right? This entry is going to kind of create a data for your organization. Website will capture your data. Do you think that they capture the data? Yes, no? Yes. Okay. Coming back to your real life scenario, how many of you uses Zomato? Everyone, right? Okay. What do you find interesting in Zomato app? What's that? Zomato? Gold. What is that gold? I don't know. Okay. That's one way of promoting the business. What's next in it? What notification? What's that? What's that? What's that notification is all about? Yeah. It's kind of artificial intelligence which sits on your app, right? Do you think that your mobile phone doesn't read you every time or every minute? Hmm? It reads you, right? And it identifies or it finds you like, what's your appetite. And it tells you like, oh, hey, it's a time for you to go for a breakfast, right? And it suggests you what the breakfast that you like at. Yes? So now the technology is an enabler for you to run a business. Did you think that Zomato would come in so fast and they would make it so matured or no, right? It started with a small way, right? And then that kind of reaps, and that's the one which is running in. Now coming back, what's in that A for AI? Obviously, every business has an AI, right? What is the use of AI? What's the use of AI? Hmm? Precise answers, okay. Okay. Makes the life easy. Okay.
Fast makes this time saves time of people.
Okay. Okay. You guys are from PGDM. Obviously, I'm expecting more from you.
Automating certain works to get perfect results.
Automating, okay. Might be. Yes. No answers are wrong, right? So AI is going to drive more for efficiencies, right? I know what's the pattern of data, right? Earlier we used to do a simple statistical analytics. What was that? Have you heard about the statistics? Yes. Yes, no. I think your professors never taught you on your statistical methods, right? Okay. So statistics was a simple dashboard by which I can understand how my business is. Yes? Example, let me take an example of Unilever, right? The Unilever sells the product across the market, right? And they want to understand which of the market is doing good and which of the market which needs an attention, right? That's where your promotion comes in, right? I identify that Chennai has a lot potential, but when I go down south, there is not much of awareness. So how do I kind of promote myself, right? So people started looking at these statistical data by which they were able to take a business decisions to kind of, how do I approach my market, right? So that's where we started, right? And it was just a dashboard, and human has to have an understanding of those data, right, and able to kind of translate and make an actionable item. That's where we started, right? And slowly that has moved across, and your system started telling you what action that you need to perform, right? So the AI has, or we made the AI, which has the intelligence to tell us, like, what I need to do and how do I need to move on. Yes? So obviously the efficiency is bought, right? Did you think that it has taken away the human workforce? Yes, no? Yes. Where is that? I never seen any human workforce being removed because of AI. AI just came in as an existence and it started supporting the human. Without a human, none of the AI can go right, right? Okay, what's next after the AI? Did you think that AI is come into an existence and it has got saturated? No. What's next? Have you heard about generative AI? What it is? What's that? No clue? Generative AI could be a next level to the AI where it can consolidate and tell you how I'm doing on my business, right? So generative AI can crawl across multiple data sources, right? It's just not only structured data and unstructured data. Do you know what structured data and unstructured data? No. Yes, no. Okay. See, basically structured data meaning like, it has rows and columns, whereas the unstructured data is something like your Word document or could be a presentations or could be a web's content that's been in, right? So that's what we call it as unstructured data, which doesn't have any index or kind of primary keys to it to kind of go and search. But your generative AI can crawl through all that and create you or give you a summarized view on what should I be doing in. Example is, like I talked about your static data, your dashboard, right? The same dashboard can be applied on top of your generative AI, and the generative AI could summarize and tell you what should I be doing in. Okay? Just the theory, right? If you ask the generative AI next time with the same data, generative AI will give you a different answer to it. Don't believe on it. Okay? So let's start in. Okay, so hope I am audible, right? Do I need to have the mic? Okay, perfect. Okay, so technology one. So one is like, the competitiveness and innovation and growth. What's innovation? What's that? Okay. Okay. What else? Okay, let me take an example, right? Innovation. So there was a myth, right? When the Cerelac was launched into the market. How many of you know Cerelac? Right? Or let me take another example of your washing powder, right? Everyone uses on a daily basis, right? Okay. So the organization came out with a 500 ml, 500 gram pack and then a kg pack, right? What is the difference and what do you find a difference in it?
The per
lower quality one will actually gain a little bit more with the price range when you get the 1 kg bag.
That's one myth, okay?
That's why, but they need of 500 grams, they will purchase that.
Okay. Though I floated a market for 501 kg, they offered you a spoon on top of your pack. You know what? There was a scoop which is being provided as part of your pack. Do you know why the reason is? No? What's that? No, it's not for free. There is an intention behind giving you the scoop. That's exactly. So when I give you with a spoon, if you look at it in a normal way, I just use my hands and I just measure what I need and put it into my washing machine or into my buckets to wash my clothes, right? Sometimes it might be in handful, but sometimes it might be less than that, right? Obviously, if it is going to be less, then your consumption of the powder is going to be not that short. It's going to be a longer time. They gave you with a spoon, right? When you use the spoon, then it is intended for it, right? Use it for a month, use it for a month. And obviously, you will go and buy the product again. If I am being given without a spoon, then I might go even after 1.5 months. That's a business tactics. That's an innovation, right? How do I make people to consume more? Yes? Okay. So that's innovation, and that going to give you a growth for your business as well, right? Okay. Let me take another example. So I was working for one of the largest Pringle makers, right? Do you know the Pringle chips, right? Okay. So they were launching a new product, and that product is all about your baking, or they want to float a bread packet into the market, which is in Malaysia. And during the process, they estimated that they want to do 1,000 breads for the day, and they want to push it into the market. But there were a lot of wastage, right? I was still able to make 10,000, the 1,000 packs, but still there were some leftovers where I didn't have the packing material on time. So obviously that bread goes waste. Do you know why? Why? The bread making has a fermentation process. Yes? If I add, say, a kg of flour, do you think that it is going to be 1 kg all time? It's going to increase, right? Because of the fermentation, it might come into 1.1 kg, right? So the 0.1 kg going waste. So we worked with the business, right? And we started bringing in some intelligence by which we were able to calculate what's going to be the output if I'm going to feed my system with so much of flour, right? Which is obviously yield in their growth, right? Instead of if my demand is 1,000 breads for the day, I can just plan for 900, which helps me out in meeting at 1,000, right? So that's what the innovation, and that has really helped the business to grow. Is this a growth? Yes, no. Okay. Operational efficiency. They know what operational efficiency is. Have you guys ever been to a manufacturing floor? Have you at least seen through the YouTubes? Right? Let me come back to my own industry, right? Automotive industry. Do you think there is a lot of manual work, or is it all kinds of robots and other stuff? Robots, right? We don't call that as robots, it's cobots. Cobots meaning the robots will work with your human, right? So that's what it is. Do you think there was an efficiency that was brought into the floor? Yes? Okay, let me ask you a simple question. How many of you use car in your life? Everyone. At least you know what a car is, right? Do you know how much time it takes to manufacture a car? Hmm? Whatever it is, there is a standard time. 8 to 10 days. Then, then why should I bring in, robots into my organ? 3 to 4 months. Hmm? 8 to minutes. We are not that super fast, right? Hmm? It takes hardly 6 hours to manufacture a car. Okay, if I want to bring that 6 hours, right, do I need to have a hardcore platform that is going to support me? Yes, that's where we talk about the operational efficiency. Example is when a chassis get loaded onto my first station, right? Assume that there are going to be 15 stations. The first station is all about bringing your chassis and adding up your body on top, right? Okay. Once I loaded on my chassis into my station, there are suppliers who have been intimated, saying like, okay, I'm going to manufacture, say example, a Skoda Kodiaq, the car which I drive, right? So there is going to be messages which will flow across all their suppliers, and they will say, okay, this is a model, and this is the color, and this is the variant, right? And immediately your supplier will start manufacturing the seats. Your supplier will start manufacturing your seats after your chassis has been loaded onto your platform. Okay? So think of 90 minutes is being given for the seat manufacturer to manufacture the seat and bring it back into the factory. Okay? And similarly, there are other things, right? Your infotainments, your powertrains, and whatever, right? So all that has to be common. So they don't kind of keep a stock. It's only when the manufacturing starts, your suppliers are intimated and the things gets into your floor. That is exactly we are talking about operational efficiency. The 90 minutes is something that which is saving me. Yes? If I manufacture and keep it on my warehouse, right, there is going to be another cost to it because I need to find a warehouse, I need to find a rack to store mine, right, and I need to know when that model is going to be get loaded onto my chassis, and then I need to bring in. So till then, the product needs to be kind of stored onto my warehouse, which is cost me, right, which is a cost for me, right. So that's exactly, so we are talking about operational efficiency and AI and automation. What's that? Earlier, if you look at it, okay, I'm going to manufacture the Skoda Octavia or Skoda Kodiaq into mine. I have to manually trigger the work order for the day. Okay, I have to schedule saying like, okay, I need to manufacture 20 cars and one car is of this variant, right? And I need to trigger the messages for my suppliers. Today with AI and your automation, everything gets automated. Once a chassis gets loaded, automatically a message, we call it as digital thread. This is a new term that you need to know, right? A thread which is being created and the thread flows to your supplier and your supplier gets in, right? This is what exactly we are talking about today. Okay, how many of you have seen this? Were you able to correlate, or have you ever seen this kind of pictures anywhere? Have you heard about Industry 4.0? Yes, what's that? Don't look at the slides and speak, right? Give me your own understanding of what Industry 4.0 is.
Basically, Industry 5.0, it's basically upon AI use of industry.
Okay, tell me what's Industry 5.0.
So evolution of industry 4.2 is based on AI technologies. Also, it's more robotics and terms.
To an extent, yeah. We started bringing in artificial intelligence and whatever, right, to kind of, accelerate on top. But still industry 5.0, not in practice, or rather we call that as dark factory. So that's another terminology that we call the dark factory. Dark factory doesn't need a human, or we call it as night lamps, right? So you just schedule the work for the day, and your factory knows what I need to do and how I need to do. Can you give me an example which is practicing 5.0? Where did you find it? Okay. Okay, so there is one factory in Chennai which is practicing this industry 5.0, but still it is at a very high level and conceptual state. How many of you know Kone elevators? Kone elevators. You know what they are into. Elevator manufacturing, right? Okay. So they are using this concept of industry 5.0, which is dark factory, which doesn't require a human. So they operate on 3 shifts. Shift 1 and 2 will have human plus the mission, right? And the shift 3, which is which runs in the night, doesn't require any human. It does the work on its own, right? That's the level of automation that we have been in. Okay, coming back, okay. So we started with industry 1.0, which is way back in 1784, right? And which was completely a manual, right? I have to make everything manual, right? There is no automation, there is not even power, right, which drives it. Can you give me an example which is completely made of human? Still we do that, but still there is an electricity and whatever, but still the concept is still going on. Do you know, or can you make an example of one organization which does that? Rolls Royce. It's completely man-made. Doesn't have any automation, right? That's the reason it is so expensive, right? Okay, so still that, right? So it doesn't have any power, it doesn't have any stream of things, right? It's all been manual. So way back in 1784, we started with that. And then we started into mass production. What's mass production? Everything is mass production today, right? Because I just make the product and I put it onto my market and I sell it, right? Which needs an energy, right? So that's when the electricity came in, and there were some missionaries which started working with the electricity and whatever. That is sometime in 18s and whatever. And industry 3.0 came in existence sometime in 70s, right? What's that?
Computers.
Yeah, computers came in existence. Do you think that the computers were integrated with your missionaries? No. The computers were been there. Example is, I use my computer to kind of have a complete information about my warehouse, right? What's the stock, right? And whatever, right? And then I used mainframes for my financial calculations, right? It was all siloed, right? That's when your mainframe came into existence, right? And every organization started using mainframes into it. And slowly today, we are on 4.0, or we call it as Industry X, right? Where we started integrating your computers into your machines or to your entire business and started moving towards. And where we had the AI and Gen AI on top, which is kind of moving to Industry 5.0. So that's the evolution of industry, right? If someone asks you, where we are today, it is all about 4.0, right? Okay. Now let's go into artificial intelligence. You've seen it, right? It is artificial intelligence doesn't came in just today. It was given a birth sometime in 50s, and slowly it got evolved, and today we are at chat GPTs, right? Which is nothing but your generative AIs. How many of you use chat GPT? Okay, what's that you use for? Huh?
For projects, assignments.
Okay. Have you tried the same prompt again? And did you find the prompt giving you the same answers?
No, different answers.
Why? Why does? What's the tool that you use? Use chatgpt.com. What is the tool that you use? Okay, there are many, right?
Yeah.
Which is the tool that you use in?
ChatGPT and something else was there.
Okay. Okay. Why ChatGPT doesn't give you the same answer for the same prompt? Meaning, it goes across and scrolls and finds what are the relevance, right? I might be doing something, right, which I would have posted on, and very fraction of second you might have put in the same prompt again, but your intelligence gets updated with what I have published, right? It kinds of crawls and it gives you a prompt within a right answers. The answers might be right. It might not go wrong as well. Okay, there was one funny activity which happened then. One of our developer and we were translating a COBOL program. Do you know COBOL program? Have you heard about it? Okay, it's a mainframe language. The COBOL program is as good as like writing English. Okay. So we were translating the whole COBOL program and we want to put it into a Java. Okay. So the guy used a chat GPT, he loaded the program and he asked that to be converted into a Java program. Your tool did, right? And he deployed the tool into the test environment. And he started testing, and there was one function which was not working. Okay? And he didn't have the patience of debugging that. Rather, he created another program, right? And it generates another new program, set of programs, and he loaded back into the test environment to test it. And this time it was a different error, right? So, ChatGPT is something that you cannot think that it would help you to kind of be more productive, but at least it gives you directions on what and how you need to do it, right? It doesn't stand for it, okay? It's still evolving. Let's see where we are going in. Okay, so these are the new terminologies, right? Have you heard about as a service? We call it as a service. No? Okay. Those days, like, we had the large computers seated on my own organization, right? Which was little cost, right? I have to maintain, or I need to kind of upgrade the resources of my system, right? Something like you add your RAM or kind of, ROM, whatever, right? Because I need to keep the speed, right? Every year there is a new version of things which comes in, and obviously I need to keep my hardware upgraded, right? That slowly got faded out because people started looking at like it is so expensive that I am not able to stand on to what industry is looking out for. And slowly, like, we got moved into something called as grid computing. How many of you know what's a grid computing is? No clue? How many of you know quantum computing? Come on. These are all the general terminologies. I never learnt all this in my rooms, right? It is all by reading, and obviously you guys need to be on your toe to understand all this. Okay, quantum computing came in existence because I can start sharing a same hardware for multiple organizations. Okay, I have you heard about data centers? Right? Geo has a data center in Chennai. How many of you know? The data center is in Nukambakam High Road. No one would have noticed. It's a huge data center which was being hosted by Geo or the Reliance, right? What they offer is they kind of have a large computers and that can be shared for multiple organizations. I don't really need to buy a computer, right, to run my softwares. Don't think your desktops and other stuff. It's not for desktops, it's all for your business applications, right? So that was a shared pool. So I started using a quantum computing. Let me give you another example. So we were recently working, or we were been with this organization for close to about 20 years, and it's an Australian-based telecommunication company. Okay, and they were launching iPhone 7. Right, it was a December, and it was a peak Christmas offer that they want to roll it out for their Australian community. Okay, we factored that there could be like 3,000 users, concurrent users that who would log in and apply for this iPhone 7. And the market opened up in the morning. People were waiting like anything. How we do it for the Amazon day, right? That is July 17th or something, right? Where you get offers and you kind of go rush and see how you could grab it. Similarly, people started logging in, and the factor was we just used only for 3,000 users, 3,000 concurrent users. That 3,000 people can log in at the same time, but your server got crashed out, right? Because it was just not 3,000 people, it was more than that, right? And it was a big flop, and we paid a penalty, right, at the end. Every business will also that. So next year, they were trying to launch the XE, and we started working on the quantum computing. That meaning, even if it is going to be 10 more users who are going to get added, the resources from the other servers will be grabbed in and made use for your operations. Okay, and the launch went in, and there were about 9,000 users who logged in at the same time, and we didn't have any failures, right? So that's where your data centers or your quantum computing started working. Now coming back as a service, how many of you know there are Macs? Google, right? Amazon and Microsoft, right? We call that as Macs. So these guys came in existence because they are cloud operators. They provide you servers, or they provide you an infrastructure, and this infrastructure in turn has this grid computing, and it is much more elasticity. I can make it when I need more resource, or I can cut down the resources and I can optimize. But if you look at it on a data center, I have to fix for it, right? I need to say that, okay, I'm going to pay you 10 rupee for this month because I'm going to use this. But whereas in this Macs, we don't really need to fix ourselves, but rather it can be dynamic pricing. So that's where we started as IT service providers, so focused much more interaction with your business to make sure what we really needed, right? And then slowly moved on to technology driven business models, right? Today, as I said, right, as we start in the morning, every business needs to have a technology, right? And as I said, if you take an example of Nissan, the biggest car maker, right? Do you know how many systems that they hold? Just a rough example. How many applications that they would have? Or take an example of Airbus. How many of you know Airbus? What they are in? What's their business? They produce flights. Okay. Do you think that they produce the same flights? No, right? They are into kind of, every model has their own set of things, right? Do I need to have a system which is going to help me out in addressing that? Obviously, right? Think of what could be the application numbers. Just give me numbers. It would be 10, 20, 100, 200. 100? Okay. Any guesses? How many applications that they might use? No clue. Okay. Example, Nissan uses 750 different applications to manufacture a simple car, right? Airbus uses 2,600 applications to build an aircraft. Do you believe? That's the size, right? And that's the size which needs to be kind of supported with the technology. Without the technology, your business cannot run. Or do you think that I can just draw an aircraft on a paper and then go on to a production? No, right? Because I have to break down into multiple components, and multiple components has its own designs, right? So that's where we started talking about it. And technology as a business enabler. Okay. You said, like, I think he's sleeping. Okay. Wake up. Okay. How many of you had an experience of buying a car? You might have gone with your parents, right, to buy a car. What was your experience? Be loud, nothing wrong in it. I just want to understand, because I can also learn something around it.
It was happy that day.
Happy that day, okay. That's different. How did you select your car?
Went for what was best for the budget.
Okay, you had a budget in constraint that you want to go with a budget, and you were finding for a car which fits yours, right? Okay, what next? Huh? Safety, okay. Mileage, features, huh? Okay. Engine specifications, your colors, right? Comfort. Okay. All that you have to physically go into a dealer showroom, and you have to sit for an, test it before you buy it. Yes? If I bring a car virtually onto your home, will it be much more easy for you to decide? No, it is going to, right? Today, how many brands that you are seeing in, right? If I want to say, like, assume that there are about 12 brands that we have in India, and if I want to do you think that I will go all the 12 brands and see for it? Because everyone has the same price ranges, right? If I take a hatchback, every organization has a hatchback. Okay, coming back, hatchback is no more. And then you had a sedan, and then you had a premium sedan, right? And mid-size SUVs and your SUVs, right? So obviously, if I want to test, or if I want to feel that comfort, I cannot go all the 12, right? If I'm going to bring a car virtually into your place, that is going to help you, right? I don't really need to go all the 12 brands, but I can take the app, look at like which I want in, or which is going to fit me, and then I can walk into the showroom and have a physical touch to it. That's what we call it as phygital, right? Physical plus your virtual, which is going to give you much more feelers, right? If you look at it, those days, like as you rightly said, we had very few cars or few models which are available. Example is your Maruti, your Fiat, and your Ambassadors, or your Fords, right? We had hardly four. And we had the habit of going into the showroom, sit on a car, feel what it is, right? And I have to force fit myself. Fiat comes as a car which comes with the two different variants, one with a diesel and other one is with a petrol. That's all. And today we had that variant. Example is your shift. If you take a shift, there are about 12 different variants. Yes, no. Okay. So it is much more tough. And those days I am force fitting myself into a particular model, but today the car is made for me, right? Do you think I can design my own car? Yes. Tell me which brand offers you that or which OEM offers you.
Customize it
Hmm?
if you want. You can customize it.
Tell me which brand offers you that. Huh? Leave it out. Will you be able to afford a Rolls Royce? No. Right? Tell me which of the other brands which gives you that. Volvo does. Volvo does. BMW does. Right? And Maruti is also entering in. Maruti, where you can go, and there is one other variant, BYD. Have you heard about it? Build your one, right? So these guys offers you a variant that it's going to fit yours. And we are not going to call those as cars anymore, but it is going to be a living thing with you, right? So the kind of complete change in the business, right? So that's exactly it is going to be. So every automaker is looking out for a cost optimization. Yes, no. Okay, let me ask you a simple example. I don't know whether you know it or not. Okay, a car has a seat. Okay, the seat is manufactured by another organization. Yes? Do you think what's their profit for a seat? How much it would be? Just guess. 10 to 20%? You might be in a good seat maker here. 40%. Okay, I think I can go with her. If she starts an organization, I can join her because she's going to make a 40%. 25%. No. Okay, just 3%. Just 3% profit for seat making. Okay, let's assume that I bought a car and the car has the seat, and for some reasons the seat got damaged. Right? Now I have to buy a new seat for it. Now I go into the OEM and ask for a seat. Do you know how much profit that they make? Clue. Coming back to you. They just make 40%. That's the kind of cycling that we are in. Okay, coming back, so everyone is looking out for a cost reduction, right? How do I bring in optimization? How do I bring in operational efficiency? How do I bring in AI or the automation to kind of optimize and create more synergies, right? So that's what we are talking about. So by 2025, everyone will go with the digital first principles because everyone wants that, right? How do I kind of optimize? How do I kind of serve my customer better than what I am, right? So these are the kind of things, and by 2025, everyone will be digital. Do you know what a digital is? Yes, no. What it is? What a digital means? Computer based. Everyone is computer based today. There is no option. None of the business can run without a computer. So digital meaning you need to be on a cloud, you need to have an ERP, you need to have a data platform, and you need to have a user-centric application. Either it could be in a web base or could be in a mobile base. If I have all the four, then you are digital. Okay, that's a simple principle. It doesn't mean that you need to follow through all that, but that's a simple principle that we are. Okay. So which are the impacted business, right? With this AI and automation, if you look at it, more towards your retail is on the higher side, because retail has a lot more can be done with AIs and your automation, right? And second comes your transport and logistics. How do I kind of optimize my carrier, right? I don't want to book a carrier and carry just half a container, right? Is that efficient or is it cost saving? No, right? Every logistic company is looking at, like, how do I kind of optimize? If I'm going to have a container, I'm going to see that how I could make it full so that there is a better price for my customer and a cheaper way of operating, right? So that's something that we are looking at. So this is how your AI is going to impact on your business. We are also working towards agriculture. Do you think a digital can work for agriculture? Yes? No? Yeah. So we are also on some, research and doing that. So this is in a McKinsey report which has been published very recently, right? So these are the business which are going to be kind of using this, AI and whatever. Okay, so partially I tied on that. So robotics and automation in your production lines, which is going to help you in accelerating your efficiency and going to bring in more robust product to it, right? Your quality stands good for it, right? If I'm going within a complete automation. If there isn't a manual, then obviously there might be an error. Yes, no? Yeah? And then smart factories, we talked about, which we are talking about, the night lamps or the dark factories, which will come into existence and which will help in automating much of your process, right? How that it is going to happen is because of your IoTs. What's IoT? What is IIoT? IoT is old terminology, and we are talking about IIoT, Industrial Internet of Things, right? We are specifying to their business as well, right? So that's what we are in. Okay, which is going to help. One is efficiency and the speed that I want in. I said, the 6 hours is making a car's time, right? How could I be much more faster, right? So that's something that we are talking about. Accuracy and quality. Definitely quality stands the highest. If I'm using more of my automations, then obviously the quality stands for it, right? And then cost reduction, because I'm removing kind of a human effort for another works or a transactional works, right, where my automation can do the transactions and the people or the human efforts can be used for something else, right? And safe working conditions as well, right? If I'm going to use robots, that's not going to be safe. Yes, it's going to be safe, right? So that is going to help me out with the benefits. Yeah? Any questions? I think I drained myself with too many examples. Did you find it interesting or not? Yes. Sure? Yes. Okay. Okay, so future work. So these are the 3 things which are working on automation, Teslas, right? There was a very recent article that Elon Musk is going to build a factory which is going to be higher than your Burj Dubai, right? Have you seen that? Burj Dubai, the tallest tower of, right? Elon Musk is trying to build in a factory which is going to be more height than what it is, right? Because he is looking at everyone can be working from one roof, right? And he doesn't need to kind of have a logistic operator kind of fly your material back into your factory and whatever. It's going to be under one roof. Okay, Amazon. Have you heard what Amazon doing with AI? Amazon uses level 4 or level 5 autonomous. Do you know what's level 5 autonomous is? No clue? A self-driven car which was tested by Google and Tesla's. Yes, no? Do you know about it? It's a humanless, right? The car can drive on its own and whatever. Do you think that it is going to work in Asia Pacific regions? Why? Traffic conditions, right? So your warehouse operation or automation is completely automated by Amazon. Have you ever experienced a lag in Amazon delivery few weeks back? Did you? Yes. Do you know why the reason is? PGDM guys, you have to read your papers in the morning. These are all information or technology which has slowed down their delivery time. They were implementing a new function or they were upgrading their existing softwares which has caused that delay, right? Your delivery was not assigned properly or it was kind of delaying and whatever, right? So that's something which has caused it. So that's on. Do you know Siemens? Do you know what they are in? We know Siemens for electrical gadgets maker, but you know they are into train makers or the rail makers as well. It's just not Alstoms or whatever, right? But they are a huge rail makers. So they have brought in all this digital enterprise into their systems and they are much more efficient today. Okay.
Our world is full of exciting ideas. Imagine every idea could be realized as an individual product in the future. We at Siemens advance industrial automation beyond imagination to make this happen. Before production can start, the order is analyzed to derive the materials and the processes needed to do the job. We also choose the most appropriate factory for the order in terms of available capabilities, supply chain aspects, and the best climate footprint. We envision that companies strive to produce only what is really requested, to be more economical, and to save valuable resources. After analyzing the priority of the unloading process, intelligent algorithms allocate suitable resources based on their offered skill set and availability. Huge amounts of data need to be analyzed in the production process, like the video stream of a drone that identifies the position of the supplied materials and checks the delivery for completeness and damage, all at the same time. However, not all tasks can be solved fully automatically. Human expertise and intuition are still crucial to make critical decisions in the autonomous factory. Intelligent systems are connected, exchange information, and collaborate to complete tasks quickly and efficiently. Tasks such as triggering material transportation. With the scanned information, the autonomous units know what to do and ensure a smooth unloading process, all without complex engineering of each process step. Each autonomous unit offers a set of skills. For the execution of a skill, workflows are generated on the fly by considering the environment and the given process goal. A variety of AI technologies are used to solve complex tasks, such as the unloading of a pallet in an automated way. All automated processes are continually monitored by certified advanced safety concepts for human-machine interaction. In rapidly changing environments, self-adapting safety functions are crucial to produce efficiently and, more importantly, safely. As customized products require individual manufacturing solutions, additive manufacturing allows for completely new shapes and forms hardly possible in conventional production. In our self-organizing production, autonomous units exchange information about their environment to collaborate in the real world. If a production step cannot be performed by a single production unit, the intelligent production system divides the process into subtasks. Then it assigns production modules to them, even considering tool changes and transportation times. For even higher efficiency, a combination of flexible grasping and visual detection facilitates the
Okay, so I leave this for your reading as well, right? So we talked about every aspects of it, all the 8 things what I listed out was been on discussion. Yes or no? Yeah, okay. Okay, any questions?
I have a question regarding the relation between grid computing and blockchain.
Okay. There is no relationship between grid computing and blockchain. Blockchain stands on it, right? So when you look at it, what's the purpose of having a blockchain?
So that data can be shared seamlessly.
Not for that. Blockchain is not for that. Okay, let me give you what a blockchain is, right? So blockchain where we have 2 things, 2 different ways of implementing blockchain. One is central ledger and other one is a distributed ledger. Okay, see, I'm going to sell a car to you, okay? When I'm selling a car, then obviously there is a transaction which is created between you and me, right? Which is going to be hosted on my central ones, okay? Tomorrow, if your friend is going to buy the car from you, I don't really need to look at what you're going to speak for it. I'm going to look at the ledger and I'm going to understand what the transaction is and what was the kind of information which has flowed in between you and me, right? It is going to give a pretty transparent way of execution. Okay, that's a central ledger. And I can also have a distributed ledger, meaning I can maintain a ledger and you can also maintain a ledger, but finally there is going to be a central ledger which will get updated. So the complete transaction flow is being recorded. That's the concept of blockchain. But grid computing is something different, which I talked about. Grid is all about how do I kind of swap or exchange computer resources in order to maintain mine. That's a different topic altogether. Yes? Okay. All the best and keep learning on yours. Okay, there is not going to be much being taught by everyone, right? So keep your professors as your mentors and start looking and start reading more, right? Which is kind of going to give you a lot more learning. And the expectations from this kind of people or from this crowd is that when you are being hired, you are being looked beyond because you are coming out from a premium degree. Yes, no. That premium degree has to be demonstrated with your hiring organization, right? If I'm going to hire you, what quality that I can expect from you, right? Bring out all that. It's not about that everything is going to be on a book by which you read it. Don't look at that way. Be kind of open into your internets and start reading what's happening in the latest and the greatest, right? The trends are changing and every business is changing on a daily basis, right? It's not that we are a standard business model. Every business has its own transformations, right? We are in an agile world, right? So make sure you are start reading in and you start putting your efforts in understanding all that, right? Good. Thanks very much and appreciate your patience to listen to my stories and all the best for your futures. Thank you.
I think you people can clap for him.